So attending a Dr. Joe Dispenza week-long advanced retreat is a bit of an investment. And a lot of you are probably questioning, is it really worth it? As of right now, it costs, I think, $2,499, if I'm not mistaken, to go to a week-long event. Now, that does include the event for 7 days, and it includes 6 days of breakfast and lunch. That still is a lot, because then you're going to also have to pay for your lodging on top of that. But is it really worth it for what you get out of the event? And my short answer, yes, it definitely is. And I can tell you from as many of events as I've been to that I would say that 95% of everybody that goes would probably agree with that. There has been very few people that are like, yeah, okay, I probably won't come to another one. I don't know that I've heard, I think there was one lady that complained, but as for that, I think nobody says they want their money back, that they didn't feel like they got their money's worth. So, for example, I just went to an event recently, and we have a local group where I live, and there's several people that just practice his meditations, and they enjoy the people, they enjoy the meditations, they enjoy what Dr. Joe teaches, what he stands for. And this lady she just attended her first event, and it was like day 3 or something, and by chance I happened to sit next to her, and she was just like, now I know why you come to so many of these events. She was just blown away. And that's the reaction that I think a majority of people get. They're blown away. They just think, well, I'm already doing the meditations, I already know his work. It's way different. It is so way different when you go to an event. And you can't even describe it until you actually go. And Dr. Joe uses a quote that I guess I can apply here. He's like, what is it like to go to an event? Well, how do you describe what a mango tastes like? Now, he talks about that when you're in meditation, but I can almost say the same thing. It's like trying to explain to somebody what does a mango taste like if they've never tasted a mango before. Going to an event is like that. How do you explain it to somebody unless they actually experience it for themselves? So I have been to 16 events at this point. And another question I get asked is, why do you keep going? Well, after you go to one event, I think you'll understand why you want to keep going to more events. And you can get, even though he has the same material, you can get more out of every event. So now, what do you expect? What goes on at this event? Now, I don't want to give away too many of the secrets, because you need to experience it for yourself. But a typical day consists of going and listening to various lectures about Dr. Joe and why you should meditate, how meditation affects your body. He also brings on some scientists. He's been devoting tons of his money towards research on how meditation is affecting people's bodies, how people are changing their lives. They're changing their DNA, they're changing their gut bacteria, they're changing all kinds of stuff inside their body just from 7 days of meditating at these events. And so those are the typical lectures. And then you have about 3 meditations a day. And those meditations usually last about an hour, hour and a half, or longer. And being there with all the other people meditating, that's hard to describe. There's an energy there that you can feel. When you meditate alone, it feels good, but when you're among other people, it's almost like it elevates you. You know, like when you go to a party or somewhere where it's like a lot of people are excited and happy, and you kind of feel happy yourself. Or even going to like Disney World, and you're like, oh, everybody's happy, I'm happy. Well, not everybody's happy when they go to Disney World, like the dads. But anyway, you feel that excitement. Or you can go into a shop or a restaurant or somewhere where you can just feel like, oh, this feels like cold energy in here. You just feel that in there. And it's because the people that are there. So the people that are at this event are so excited. They're meditating, they're ready to lift their vibrations, and that's really what you're feeling, is you're feeling the vibrations. And I feel like that kind of almost feeds you even more when you meditate. So you may say, well, I can just meditate 3 times a day at home. Well, that's fine, and people are healing themselves doing that too. But going to the event, there's something about the energy there. There's the people there. Most of your meals are eaten together, like they just have big round tables and things, and you go and you can visit with other people. And it's just amazing the kind of conversations you can have with these people. And I don't know how many hundreds of times I've heard this where people are like, these are the people I've been looking for my whole life. This is my tribe. People get me here, because you may feel like you're just kind of lost in society. You just like, you hate typical, everyday, boring life. Let's talk about the weather. Let's talk about politics. Let's talk about blah, 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 boring, repetitive, whatever. These people have deep, meaningful life conversations. I mean, I don't even know how many times you go and you have these like really deep conversations with people, and then it's time to go and you're like, oh, I didn't even get your name. And usually boring conversations in life, you're like, that's the first thing. Oh, what's your name? You know, what do you do for a living? And some of that stuff you didn't even figure out about these people, but you're talking life experiences with them. What else is wonderful about the event? So you're like, okay, well, that's great. Yeah, I meditate 3 times a day, and I learn some stuff about Dr. Joe's work. I could read some books, and, you know, I can go and visit people. It's just, like I said, it's hard to describe, really. It's life-changing. That's the word that I hear from most people, is it's life-changing. I mean, it literally has turned my life around. I can't even say 360. I don't even know that there's a direction for the way. I mean, it's a spiral. It's spiraled my life into something completely different, and it just keeps doing it every time I go. And the more I meditate, it's taking me places I never could have even imagined that I would go. So my first event, I did the progressive workshop at home because I was very sick, and my husband was like, oh, you should do this. It can heal you. You see all these testimonies online of people healing themselves magically from doing these meditations. And I'm doing them at home. I'm not feeling anything. It's not my thing. I'm not getting it. And I went basically because kind of he wanted me to go. And I was like, whatever. What have I got to lose, kind of thing, you know? He was putting out the money. He's like, I'm fine. Now let's go. And then I end up healing myself, and I see and feel things that I cannot even describe with words. And you'll come across that. I mean, you go there and you're having conversations with people about traveling through time and space and seeing past lives and touching God and feeling these incredible feelings of love that you have never ever felt in your entire life. And like I said, I can't even describe everything that you would experience. So again, if you're thinking about doing it, if you've got the money set aside, do it. Now, the hotel, like if you do plan on going, the hotel is about the same as the event itself. A lot of times you can find a roommate. They have like a Facebook group and stuff. You can find a roommate and you can help share costs that way. Some people will try to go to one that might be local nearby so they can just drive every day, but some mornings are really early, so you want to be very close by so you're not driving early in the morning. You could also try a hotel that's closer by that might be a little cheaper. A lot of people just enjoy staying at that hotel. I've even seen people share 4 people in a room. That really cuts down on the cost. Dinner time, you know, you can do whatever you want for dinner. Sometimes you eat like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon for your lunch, and they feed you so well with your snacks and everything that you don't even need to really put out money for dinner. But if it's a goal of yours, or if you're debating on it, I still really think save up the money and see. I can think the one event that I went to alone, how much money it just saved me on medical bills, just going to that one event. And how much money, I mean, people say that. It's like they talk about prevention care and healthcare and stuff, and it's like, okay, well, I've waited all these years, and now I'm really sick, and now I'm having to pay all this money. It's like, okay, why don't you just, from the start eating healthy, being healthy, be less stressful, different things like that. So look at this as an investment into your future health, your future sanity. You can look at it that way, because you may not get that big magical healing that saves you from all these medical bills in the future, but you're peeling off layers that allows you to maybe have less medical bills, less stress, a longer life, a more fulfilling life. I mean, I just, like I said, I can't even think of words right now to describe just how fulfilling my life is, how, I don't know, my life was going down, and now it's like, I don't know if I'd say it. It's going up, but I would say it's going every which way, because it's up, it's down, it's sideways, it's all different ways. So I don't know, I guess there's some things that people struggle with when they go to the event, and you may feel that. He always mentions that too, the first 2-3 days of the event that people are trying to overcome themselves, overcome their environment, let go of their baggage, let go of, oh, I got this problem, I'm better, I'm somebody in the world, or whatever it is that's going on with their egos. Also, when you're there, you're sitting kind of close to other people meditating, and and then you usually lay down, and you're like, oh, that person's feet stinks. There's a lot of stuff of overcoming, but I that's just become part of the experience now. Is just overcoming your body, overcoming your environment, and you realize how much shit you hold on to in your life, how much baggage you have, and how you're like, man, that whole event was so freeing, and I feel so much better about my life. I want to make changes. And I mean, I don't know how many times I've heard of people going to events and then they go home and they quit their job and they do this and they make these huge life-changing things and they start traveling the world to sell their house, and I don't know, it's crazy. And like I said, 95%, and I even could say that percentage could be higher than that. 95% of people would definitely loved the event and would love to go back, and didn't say it's a waste of money. It's a wonderful investment. It is, I guess you could say, an opportunity of a lifetime. I mean, there is a reason why his events sell out so quickly. So jump on it if you see an event that opens up. And why do I keep going back? It's because of the experience that I had the first time. I was like, I want some more of this. So I went again, and I was like, I want more of this. I went again. I was like, wow, what else is possible? I went again. I was like, wow, that was so cool. Let's see what else. And again, like I said, it's like he may repeat a lot of the same stuff, but depending on what you're going through in your life, you're going to hear something different the next time that you go. So he may have said this one sentence, and it just totally passed over you. You're like, oh, that doesn't apply to me. Or you're working through something different now, and you're like, oh, wow, that makes so much sense now. Okay, now I get it. Or, oh, wow, that's true. I really need to look at that within myself, or whatever it happens to be. But there's so much information, so much of a wonderful community, so much evolving, so much growing, so life-changing. You just have to experience it. And then you'll understand. So, again, I suggest that you really consider going. He does. If you've been to an event, if you want to tell people below your experience, feel free to share, because this is just my own opinion, and other people that I've talked to, I'm just sharing some of theirs. I mean, there's a couple that we met several years ago. It was their first event, and we just saw them recently, and they said, at their first event, they said, man, we've been meditating 40 years, and this is nothing in comparison to anything we've ever experienced in our 40 years of meditating. So this isn't just for people that are like, oh, let's see what this meditating thing's about. These people have been meditating for 40 years, and this is over the top for them. And I've heard that several times. People have been meditating 20 years, whatever, but 40 years, I'm like, wow, that definitely says something there. So, again, like I said, if you have been to an event and you want to comment, share your opinions on it. He also does have a Facebook page. I'll put the link below. I forget exactly what it's called, but he's got an official page where you can go and you can just talk about things that you're experiencing in your life, things that you're questioning. Go on there and ask a question. I'm considering going to an event. What's it like? Is it worth the investment? Ask other people's opinion. Don't just take mine. I've always said that. Don't just take my opinion. Don't believe everything that you're told, because everybody's going to have a different viewpoint on life. And that's another thing that I've learned, is that everything that I've learned about the outside world, all my opinions have really changed on that, because I look at the whole world completely different now. After going to this event, everything in my freaking life is different. Actually, I think about the only same thing that's the same is I'm in the same house and same family, but my outlook on life and where I'm moving to and what, again, I can't describe it. All right. Thank you so much for watching.